President John Dramani Mahama issued a strong call for international unity in addressing the escalating threat of violent extremism across West Africa, describing the region's security challenges as a shared responsibility requiring coordinated action. Speaking to diplomatic envoys during the presentation of credentials, President Mahama emphasized Ghana's unwavering commitment to democratic values in an increasingly volatile region. According to him, Ghana continued to be what is called the beacon of democracy in West Africa, especially in a period when our region is facing grave threats of violent extremism. President highlighted the critical importance of maintaining dialogue with all regional partners, even amid political fragmentation, addressing the situation with countries that have distanced themselves from regional bodies. He went on to paint a stark picture of the security landscape, noting how the Sahel region has become a magnet for international terrorist networks. President Mahama said addressing this threat requires multilateral cooperation.
We would continue to be what is called the beacon of democracy in West Africa, especially in a period when our region is facing grave threats of violent extremism. We appreciate the relations we have with the UK in terms of the fight against terrorism and violent extremism. We've developed a process of rapprochement with the AES countries, even though they have determined to break away from the regional sub-body. I think that there must be a continuous engagement with them, because the threat that they face is a common threat to our whole sub-region, not to them alone. The situation in those countries is quite grave, and we believe that Ghana, working with ECOWAS and the international community, must see how we can work to resolve the issue of violent extremism. I mean, all the reports by the UN show that it has become the epicenter of terrorism and violent extremism in the world. And a lot of terrorists and insurgents who were flushed out from Syria and the Middle East have regrouped in the Sahel because they find a safer haven there to continue their banditry. And so we'll rely on cooperation with UK. Already we have support from the UK in terms of training, in terms of technical expertise, in terms of intelligence sharing, and we hope that will continue.
He actively courting British businesses to establish cooperation in the country as it positions itself as a strategic gateway to Africa's expanding market.
We're pivoting from just being a recipient of trade ODA to a situation of trade and investment, and we're encouraging that more UK companies, there are already so many of them, we're encouraging that more UK companies come and set up in Ghana, using Ghana as a hub and as a gateway to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area, because now we're able to export duty-free, tariff-free into each other's markets. And so Ghana is positioning itself as the hub for manufacture and processing into the other African markets. So you come at a time, of a changing world. You come at a time when we have, turbulence in our sub-region, but you also come at a time where our economy is settling and doing quite well. And so we wish to welcome you, and our doors are open, and anytime there's any issue, we'll continue to have that dialogue so that we're all on the same wavelength as to what our relationship is.
British High Commissioner Christian Rock emphasized the critical importance of adapting international security partners to meet contemporary challenges, highlighting how dramatically the global security landscape has transformed.
And then the second priority is very much on security. And this is where, when I think back to when I was in Ghana previously, the world really has changed. Whether that's conflicts that we never imagined, war happening again in Europe, which was inconceivable at the time, but then also what is happening in the region here. I remember the neighboring countries were all very peaceful at the time when I was here, and people regularly went there for exploration. Now that's very different. So I think over time also our partnership, our collaboration on security issues has evolved. That has to do with countering terrorism, as you said, has to do with training, with intelligence, with equipment, but goes beyond that, because there are the other threats that we're also facing, both of our nations together, whether that's the illicit financial flows that pass through our economies, whether that's the drugs trade. So security, just as growth for us, are quite broad and encompassing priorities to work with you and your government on.